here during the progress, and then he will help you anytime you need help. Yeah, Budiana.
All right, understood.
Okay, Budiana,
Thank you
without
very
any further
much.
ado, I would like to give the time for you. Please, Budiana, this time is yours.
Thank you so much, Bapak Harry. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, Pak Usama is there. Thank you. All right. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. This is our second week together, so I believe that everyone is in good health. Everyone, yeah, correct? How are you, everyone?
Alhamdulillah, Miss.
Alhamdulillah, good.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So last week I've given you tasks where I asked you to identify the interventions and then the best practice, all right, to help students with exceptionalities or students with disabilities. So let's take a look on the task together. Yeah, I believe some of you have not yet filled in the form, right? Let's take a look on this together, yeah? Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay. Can you see the screen, everyone?
Yes, we can see.
Yes.
Thank you, Pak Usama, and thank you, everyone. All right, let's take a look on this together, yeah? Hold on. Okay. All right. This here. Okay.
Jadi cek kan tadi iki salat sik kan salat. Yo kowe.
Okay, so last week I've given this task, all right, to every one of you, and I had already somehow mentioned that you need to work in group. So I believe that some of you have, completed this task, but some of you left my form, all right, without the answer. So let's discuss this together today, yeah? All right. I'm not going to discuss every of these ideas because I believe that you have done a very good job. I've checked the ideas and you did, tremendously excellent work. But we're going to just discuss it in, not in thorough, but let's discuss this together. Okay. So the first situation I mentioned about, Amma takes significantly longer than her peers to complete tasks. All right. She understands content but need repeated explanation. She become anxious, right? During fast-paced lesson and often freeze during oral questioning. Her mother says she studies every night but still struggle to keep up, all right? So Salma, Tiara, Shifa, and Nabila somehow mentioned that these exceptionalities goes under learning disability, all right? But when it comes to learning disability, you need to mention what kind of learning disability that happened in this particular situation. Any answer from the floor? Somebody who would like to have Salma's group? What kind of learning disability, please? Any of you?
Silakan Mbak Salma, Mbak Tiara, Mbak Syifa, dan Mbak Nabila.
Terima kasih Pak Usama. When you mentioned learning disability, what kind of learning disability? What type of learning disability? We have several types of learning disability. But the challenges is somehow, the challenges shown here are correct, all right? So Amal, she is slow, all right, in order to finish tasks. She struggles, all right, in fast-paced lesson, okay? She get anxious during Q&A session, and definitely because she quite slow to finish the task, she needs repeated explanation from the instructor, right? So the exceptionality, anyone? Because you mentioned learning disability, but we would like to go through the, you need to specify what kind of learning disability that we're talking about here. Ada siapa-siapa mau cuba? Jangan risau, saya tak marah. There's no window for me to throw you out the window, definitely. All right. Maybe Mas Lutfi mau cuba?
Silakan Mas Lutfi, mau coba.
Sorry, Miss. Can you repeat for the question?
All right, so these particular group members, they mention exceptionality as learning disability, but I would like to know what type of learning disability that we're talking about here. In your opinion, all right, what type of learning disability that Amal, all right, has over here? Okay. Let's have Lutfi together, everyone. The challenges, if you could see there, Lutfi, all right, Amal, all right, she has this problem, all right, to finish tasks. She's quite slow in finishing tasks given by the instructors. She struggles in face-to-face lesson, all right. Somehow she gets anxious, when bombarded with questions, and she need repeated explanation from the instructor. So in your opinion, Mas Lutfi, what kind of learning disability that Amal has? Okay. All right. So this particular student, she is a slow learner. All right. She is a slow learner. Yeah,
Slow
Mas
learner.
Lutfi. No worries. Okay. All right. Okay, so she is a slow learner. So I mean it, Salma's, thank you, Mas Lutfi. So please specify this, yeah, Salma's group, all right, slow learner, all right. The intervention are somehow excellent. You should give extra time to these particular students to complete the task. All right, please, yes, correct. Use simple repeated instruction. You should give them support, and yes, it is good for you to use visual and hands-on activity. It's quite hard for them to read, lengthy passages. So it is good for you to provide them with something, with visual activity. Well done. All right. Let's take a look on number 2. Okay. Azim confuses similar looking words and writes slowly with many spelling errors. He avoids literacy tasks. Okay, so yes, this is also considered under learning disability. But what kind of learning disability we're talking about? Similar looking words. Kalau ada similar looking words, look at the keyword. Similar looking words. Rasa-rasanya, what kind of learning disability that we're talking about here? Kalau Mbak Isnani ya, Rizkiani, mungkin Mbak mau cuba what kind of learning disability we're talking about here?
Silakan Mbak. Saya Mbak.
Is it dyslexia?
Correct. It is dyslexia. Well done, dear. Well done. All right. Dyslexia. The word similar looking words. Kalau words is dyslexia. If we are talking about mathematics, it's dyscalculia. All right. Lexi means language. Lexi is language. All right. So dyslexia, similar looking words. Sometimes you read B, but the correct word is D. Thank you very much. Well done. All right. So the challenges and intervention is somehow correct. I'm not going to somehow discuss on that, yeah? All right, and then the next one is, let's read this together. Sophia struggles in multiple subjects. She forgets content easily and needs constant repetition. She tries, but falls behind peers. Okay, falls behind peers. All right. So, my intellectual disability, well done. All right. So the challenges and intervention are somehow correct. Well done, Isa's group. Let's move to Nabil's and the gang. All right. So Zara repeat phrases, echolalia, all right, and struggle with turn taking in conversation. She prefers structured tasks. Okay. All right. Okay. Social communication and flexibility. No, but nice try. All right, nice try. Good answer, but this is not the correct answer. So anyone who would like to answer, anyone who would like to correct this, please? It is under social communication difficulty, but what kind of social communication difficulty that we are looking at? The keyword is struggles with turn taking in conversation, and Zara prefers structured tasks. The intervention are all correct. However, the exceptionality, you should specify the exceptionality. Lucky, do you would like to try, Lucky? Lucky Yuda. You are my lucky number 3. Yes, what's your answer?
Non-social communication.
Yeah, Lucky, sorry.
Zara repeats phrases itu Kak Miss.
Apa tu?
Oh, penyakitnya.
Penyakitnya. Penyakitnya apa? Tetapi kan anak-anakku, adik-adik, learning disability bukan penyakit. Ya, sayang?
Maybe anxiety or speech language, maybe.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Anxiety or speech language, maybe. Sorry, I'm...
Anxiety or anxiety or speech delay.
Speech delay or disorder.
Speech disorder. Okay, thank you, Lucky. Thank you so much. Okay. It's not anxiety, but it is a speech disorder. We consider this under autism. Yeah, autism. But well done, Lucky. Well done, Lucky. The idea is there already, but the disability is incorrect. This is autism. Yeah, well done, everyone. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay, Ravi is highly sensitive to noise. Fire drills cause meltdowns. He prefers routines. All right. And specific sitting position. All right. Okay. So this is auditory hypersensitivity. It is under autism as well, everyone. It is under autism as well. You need to look at the keyword used over here, sensitive to noise. All right. Cause meltdowns. All right. Okay. Well done. All right. Let's move to the next one. Lutfi. All right. We called Lutfi just now. Now we're going to read Lutfi idea on the work. Okay. Mikael hits desk. All right. Throws books and shouts when frustrated. Okay. All right. Correct. Emotional and behavioral disorder, EBD. Okay. The challenges and intervention are all correct. All right. Well done. Okay. Now we move to Anissa. If I am that fast, please on your mic. All right. And then inform me. Yeah. All right. So Anissa, Rita argues, refuses tasks and provoke peers. Okay. So this is under behavioral disability, everyone. Behavior disability is not emotional, all right? Okay, so the challenges and intervention are all correct. However, again, yeah, for exceptionalities, this is behavioral disability, all right? We don't consider is under emotional, but well done. Okay, well done. All right, now we're moving to Karen's idea, all right? Jordan's appears withdrawn, all right? Rarely speaks and seems tired. He used to be active, but now isolate himself. Okay, so what's your answer, Karen? Karen and the gang, what's your answer? Karen, Novita, Amel, and Mayesa, if I pronounce that correctly. Okay. All right. Yes.
Is it anxiety?
Anxiety. All right. Okay. You can consider this under anxiety. Well done, dear. It is emotional disability. All right. Anxiety is going to be one of the challenges, but well done. You have done a very good job. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay, next, Akila panics during presentation. All right. She cries or shakes before speaking in class. All right. This is anxiety. Okay. This is anxiety, not speech or language disorder. Okay. Correct this, please. Yeah. All right. See, look at the challenges. You mentioned severe public speaking anxiety. However, when it comes to exceptionality, you somehow categorize this wrongly, but no worries. All right. I believe that you have got the ideas, but you have this, issue to identify which of the following ideas is the correct ideas. But no worries. These two challenges and intervention are all correct. Well done. Okay, so now we move to Ella. Okay. Shanti struggles with counting, reading, and daily routines, but thrive with strong visual support. Okay. What kind of learning disability? We're talking about learning disability. This is definitely a learning disability topic, but what type of learning disability that we're talking about over here? Ella, Indi, Altifah, and Wina. All right. So the challenges, slow learning pace, struggling to understand uncomplicated information, dependence on concrete examples, frustration and low confidence, but no intervention. Why don't you put your intervention now, Ellas and the gang, so that it will be easier for you to discuss together, for us to discuss together. So this particular person, all right, she struggles a lot with counting, reading and daily routines, but strive with strong visual support. The intervention is given straight away, all right? The intervention is there, okay? The intervention is there. The challenge is also there, all right? So the challenges are all correct. So the intervention is actually to use visual schedule, all right? And then we consider this under moderate intellectual disability, everyone. Moderate intellectual disability. Okay. All right. Thank you. So now we're moving to Marsha. Okay. Marsha, Sandy, Diva, and Aika. Okay. So let's read this together. Shahir needs repeated teaching. All right. Abstract concept confuse him. He prefers concrete example. So if you could see that the keyword is actually at the ideas of concrete example. Okay, concrete example. Okay, so this is also considered as mild intellectual disability. All right, the challenges are all correct, and then the interventions are also correct. Well done, Marsha and the gang. All right, now moving to the next one. Okay, Mina cannot pronounce R, R and TH, and certain blends. These affect spelling and reading out loud tasks. Okay. All right, Kayla, Angelique, Jacinta, and Kenan. I don't know how to pronounce this. I'm so sorry. Are you all here? Kayla, Angelique, Jacinta, and Kenan.
Yes, miss.
Hi. Hi, darling. So what is the exceptionality of this particular situation, please? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Look at the keyword. Mina cannot pronounce R and
Yeah.
all right? And then it affects spelling and reading out loud. So, what type of exceptionality, please?
For the exceptionality, it's a learning or speech disorder.
Correct. Well done. Speech disorder. Well done. All right. How about the intervention? What kind of intervention that you should take into your consideration, please? Mm-hmm. All right. So maybe what you can do is to suggest for articulation therapy. All right. Maybe you should give time to Mina. All right. Extra time to speak in class. All right. Possible? Caroline again. All right. Okay, let's move to the next one. Okay. Shofia. All right, Shofia. Shofia Dafa. All right. Sulong and Shafa. Okay, Arif status heavily when nervous. Classmate tease him, causing him to avoid oral participation. All right, oral participation. Correct. The exceptionalities is speech disorder. Challenges and intervention are all correct. All right. Well done, everyone. Okay, let's move to Sarah. Sarah, I believe it's Ale. All right. Nana and Shauda. All right. So Fatima misses visual cues during lesson. She bumps into desks and struggle with copying notes from the board. All right, from the board. Okay. So visual disability, correct. All right. Challenges and intervention are all correct. Well done. Okay. Azharia Aulia. All right. So Rahman sits very close to the screen and squint when reading. He performed well when resource material are enlarged. Very good visual impairment, low vision. All right. Challenges and intervention are all correct. Well done. Okay. We move to Norika. All right. Fahmi constantly say, huh? and misunderstand question. He appears inattentive, but actually cannot hear clearly. His reading is affected because he cannot hear phonic sounds well. Hearing impairment, well done. All right. Misunderstand question. You need to go back to the situation. Yeah, Norika, Wawa, Kafa, Al-Faruq, and Nabila Alifa. They have more than 3 challenges. So identify all challenges. Definitely misunderstand question would be one of the challenges, but they have more than that. So please identify all those challenges, and then yeah, you would like to use visual aids, all right, but there will be some other intervention that you can consider, all right. For example, provide written instruction, all right, and then use amplified, all right, amplified phonics and activities. Okay, all right, so let's move to Marvin's and the gang. All right, Nadia relies heavily on lip reading. She misses instruction when teachers face the board. Group work overwhelms her due to noise. Okay. This is hearing impairment, everyone. Hearing impairment. Lip reading. Lip reading is one of the intervention. And then she misses instruction if the teacher face the board because she needs to read the lips. All right. So this is considered under hearing impairment. Challenges and intervention are all correct. Okay. All right. Good job. Now we'll move to Alfian. Okay, Alfian. Ryan interrupts lesson, gets up frequently and finishes work too quickly with mistake. His peers find him entertaining but disruptive. Okay, correct. The exceptionalities is ADHD. Challenges and intervention are all correct. All right, well done, Alfians and the group members. Okay, so we have two more. All right, so the next one is Danish loses focus quickly, forgets homework, and daydream. All right. During lesson, his books are messy and unorganized. He is capable but inconsistent. Yes, correct. The exceptionalities ADHD and the challenges and intervention are all correct. Good job, Nanos and the group members. Yeah, Nano, Lucky, Zidan, and Neva. All right. So the last one is Angelica, Anissa, and Nazwa. All right. So Haris forgets multi-step instruction easily. All right. He tries hard, but halfway through a task, he forgets what to do next. He avoids group discussion because he needs extra time to think before responding. Okay. All right. So the answer for this one would be, it's not attention deficit, it's not ADHD. What's your opinion, everyone? Is that possible for you to help Angelica, Anissa, and Nazwa? What's the answer for the exceptionality, please? Anyone from the floor? He forgets multi-step instruction easily, even though he just listened to that step or instruction a few minutes ago. But he forgets that easily, all right? He tried hard, but halfway through a task, he forgets again. So he tried to avoid group discussion because definitely he needs sometimes to, to think and then come up with the ideas, all right? So you can say that Haris, all right, is a slow learner person, okay? Challenges and intervention are all correct. Well done, everyone. Well done. Okay. All right. Okay. So is there any question from the floor regarding to the task that I've given last week before we move to the teaching and learning activity? Is there any question from the floor?
I think no, miss.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. All right. So we have somehow discussed the activity that I've just given last week. I believe that everyone is in the correct track. I wish you all the best. If you have any tasks regarding to this particular topic, I do hope that you could answer the question, in a good way. All right. So today I would like to somehow discuss on psychological theories and approaches in learning difficulties. Remember that whatever given to you today, the activity, all right, I've taken from slaving, all right? So I have posted the books, all right, the online book in my, what does it call, in my Padlet. So you just need to go to my Padlet and check on your own, yeah? Let me share again with you. Check. Hold on, yeah. Okay. All right. So if you are ready, I would like to start my lesson. Are you ready, everyone?
Ready, Miss.
Inshallah, thank you very much. Okay, so Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Like I mentioned previously, my topic today is on psychological theories and approaches in learning difficulties, right? Hold on, yeah. Okay, so last week we have somehow, discussed on learners' exceptionalities or learners' difficulties. Like I mentioned previously, learning difficulties refers to challenges that affect student ability to acquire, process, and use information effectively. Somehow it impacts on the four main types of skills. There are four main types of skills. If you learn language, these are the four main skills. We have reading, we have speaking, we have writing, we have listening. So if your student have difficulty, all right, in these four types of main skills, your student might have learning disability. Hence, it is good for you to look for the intervention, all right, the best intervention to help them in class. So they are at ease, they can learn better, and they can learn like everyone else in the class. Okay. Somehow, when it comes to making peace of this idea and try to make ease of whatever that happen in class, this is why psychology matters. All right. It is good for you to diagnose the problem, more accurately. I remember one time I thought that my student, this particular student, he has this ADHD. But somehow after I asked for because in Malaysia we have this card. We call this OKU card, Orang Kurang Upaya card. Okay. So they will mention in that particular card, it will mention what type of disability that this particular person is having. So I thought my students, all right, he has this ADHD, but somehow it's not ADHD, it's Asperger, okay, ataupun autism, high functioning autism. All right. Somehow I believe that I did not provide him with appropriate intervention, but after sometimes I try to change my teaching method to accommodate my students' problem. So he was one of my student who could somehow excel good in class, inshallah. All right. So as an instructor, it is good for you to find some method, appropriate method, all right, where it could somehow support learners inclusively and effectively. Like I mentioned previously, it is good for you to diagnose your student accurately. If you don't know how to do it, you can always discuss with the students, try to bring the students to the specialist so that you will get the correct diagnosis of what happened to your student. Sometimes your student don't know that they have this disability and the parents are somehow in denial. So here you are, all right, as an instructor, it is good for you to try to find the best solution to help your students. Okay, so let's take a look on the next slide, all right. So psychology provides the foundation understanding necessary address learning difficulties effectively. So we are now looking at we're not looking this problem at the surface level only, but we would like to pinpoint the root cause of academic challenges because we would like to look for the way that we could help them so that they could be in our class and try to learn as good as they can. We should somehow provide the best that we can to make sure that they are all good. All right. Okay. So the first one is understanding cognition, where psychology explains how learners process, store, and retrieve information. different people might have different, cognitive ability. We might understand the instruction at the first instruction. We might understand instruction at the first ideas. However, when it comes to ADHD students, when it comes to autism, people with autism, they might take some time to understand the instruction. Hence, you should chunk your instruction, into few points. You cannot somehow mention, all right, everyone, please gather yourself in a group. You're going to answer the question and then submit the answer at the end of the class. That is what we call as a, complete instruction. However, when it comes to giving instruction to, student with disability, it is good for you to chunk the instruction, to one instruction to another so that they could understand the instruction well. Contohnya, all right, everyone, please form a group of 5. So take some time, all right, for like 5 seconds, try to look at their eye contact, try to make eye contact with them. If you could see from the face, if they could not understand, all right, somehow you can see from the face or the facial expression, the gestures, all right. Once you have identified that they can understand the instruction, then you can move to another instruction where you mention, all right, turn to page 3, read the question, hold for quite some time, make eye contact with them, all right, then you continue with another instruction, all right. Okay, if you could see here, it is good for you to break tasks into smaller steps. And also, it is somehow suggested that you could somehow use visual cues, all right, rather than simply repeating instruction, because sometimes they kind of overload with all the instruction. It is good for you to somehow share visual cues and yes, break tasks into smaller steps, all right? Okay, so the next one is identifying pattern. All right. I remember telling you about the differentiation between dyslexia and dyscalculia. Dyslexia, lexi means apa tu language. Dyscalculia comes from the words calculate, calculator. All right. This is what we call as student who has disability in, mathematics, for example. Okay, so sometimes it would be difficult for us to identify which pattern that the student is having problem with. So it is good for you to bring the diagnosis, all right, to the person who are in charge. Contohnya, you should somehow bring this particular student to see the specialist to identify, all right, what's the problem with the students, because we don't want to come up with wrong diagnosis. We might say, oh, the student is having dyslexia, but the thing is, he's good in writing essay, but he's having problem in understanding mathematics formula. So we don't want to have that kind of problem. So you should somehow identify, all right, the patterns correctly, ataupun the exceptionality correctly, all right. Okay, so the next one is evidence-based strategy. Insight from cognitive and educational psychology inform the development of intervention proven to be effective. Let's look at the example so that you can understand this better. All right, behavioral psychology guides the implementation of structured routines and positive reinforcement for students with attention deficit. Sometimes when it comes to this type of students, all right, they have problem with their behavior. Okay, they need to stick to the same routine every day, and then when they do something good, it is good for you to somehow share positive reinforcement. Good job, well done. All right, somehow it will boost their motivation to learn better the next class. But somehow when it comes to this type of students, you need to have this drill practice. Drill kan, macam drill, you drill apa, what does it call, wall, drill, so you need to give them the same instruction every day. You need to always tell them the same thing every day At one point of their life, inshallah, it will stick to their mind, but it will take time. You cannot somehow mention the first time and you don't want to mention anything similar again tomorrow. No, cannot. You need to always drill. You need to always mention every day, every time you meet them. Somehow at one point of their life, inshallah, it will stick to their mind and they will remember, inshallah. Okay, and then the next one is holistic support. All right, beyond academic, psychology addresses social, emotional, and behavioral aspect. If a student avoids reading to anxiety, psychological principle help educators create a safe, supportive environment and teach coping mechanism, fostering overall well-being. I have one student in class. I don't know whether I have shared with you about this problem last week. I have one student, she's a teacher because we are actually from Faculty of Education as well. All right, she's a teacher. She is going to be a teacher. But somehow when it comes to presentation, she's having, she's too anxious. And then at one point, she couldn't present very well. So what I did, I asked this particular student to present, last in class. But since I need somebody to also witness the presentation, I asked her to find, her friends, best friend forever, kan, BFF, to be in the class, all right, to support her while presenting the ideas. But definitely, when it comes to working, definitely you need to work on that as well. So I asked her to see to see psychiatrist, all right, to help her with this kind of problem. Okay, all right. So next, okay, major psychological theories in learning. All right, everyone. So I have seen your what does it called syllabus, and I believe that you have learned about these theories a few weeks after you started your semesters. I believe in week 2, 3. I can't remember, but you have learned about behaviorist theories by B.F. Skinner, cognitive theory by Piaget, and then we have humanistic theory by Maslow or Rogers, and we have constructivist theory by Vygotsky and Brunner. All right. So I don't want to focus too much on this particular topic because you have learned this. I believe that your instructor has given you the best. All right. But I just would like to revise this a bit with you. All right. So B.F. Skinner come up with a theory where behavior is shaped by reinforcement and environmental stimuli. Right, when you do your work, when you do your work well, so the instructor would somehow praise you. Well done, good job. It somehow boosts your motivation to do better in class. All right. And then there are some strategies that you could take into consideration. Contohnya token economy. You can always give them gift at the end of the class after they completed their task, for example. Ataupun positive reinforcement, like I mentioned previously, you can praise them, and then structured routine. Somehow they love, all right, they like to have the structured routines so that they could somehow they understand what are they doing for their next class. Okay. And then the next one is cognitive theory by Piaget. It focuses on memory, perception, and processing. I remember telling you about drill practice just now. Yes, when you drill them with the same script, contohnya they need to do a role play, but somehow it's hard for them to remember whatever that they need to do during role play. So you are going to take one of the ways by doing drill practice. You ask them to read and try to remember, all right, the script. This script should be the same script, okay, the same script. Somehow at one point of their life, I mean, the memory will capture in long-term memory site, all right, and they will somehow remember the script. So this is cognitive theory, okay. What you can do is to chunk the activity, graphic organizers, repetition or drills, and the last one is multi-sensory learning. Okay, so the next one is humanistic theory by Maslow or Rogers, where they emphasize emotional safety and self-esteem. All right, so the strategies that you can use is to have supportive environment, encouragement and giving choices, because sometimes the students, they need choices. Like, okay, you have you mentioned about assessment, all right? You have two case study. And you can ask the student which case study that you prefer. All right, maybe the first case study seems quite alien to them, so they would like to go with case study number 2. It is depending on the student. Somehow the student will feel the student will have that high self-esteem, all right, to complete the assignment. Okay, all right. So the next one is constructivist theory, where learning through experience and interaction, group work, scaffolding, and hands-on tasks. Okay. Do you have questions so far, everyone? Do you have questions so far? No? No questions
Miss.
on the floor? Thank you very much. Okay, so I have this matching theory to learner type. Okay, I've given some so that when you refer to my, what does it call, to my slide, you can get something, all right? For example, dyslexia, we have cognitive theory. You need to go back to cognitive theory. What is cognitive theory? It's focused on memory, perception, and processing. So dyslexia, so this particular student having problem, all right, in words, all right, to identify words, they might having problem to identify B and D, for example, R and the. Okay, so dyslexia, cognitive theory. Kalau ADHD, behaviorist theory. Again, you need to go over here. What is behaviorist theory? Shaped by reinforcement and environmental stimuli. Okay, ADHD, because sometimes when it comes to ADHD students, the student won't have focus, all right, to complete the task. So you need to sit, right, with them and then ask them to complete the task. Once they finish the task, you can always mention good job, all right, good job. Even though they take longer time than the other peers, somehow at one point of their life they feel the appraisal will make them to feel better. They would like to do more in the next class, inshallah. Okay, autism, constructivist, and behaviorist. Because sometimes you need to shape autism, because autism usually they would like to how am I supposed to say, they have this structured routine. They would like to follow to their routines, all right? You can change the routine, but it's not that drastically change. You need to try here and there, right? And then you need to always look at the behavior. If the ideas is somehow overwhelmed, they might get into meltdown. So yeah, you need to always try to calm yourself before you calm down. Because sometimes when it comes to autism, they might get into meltdown. You are also in the overwhelmed situation. So yeah, calm yourself so that you can calm down. All right. Okay, slow learner, definitely cognitive theory. Somehow it is quite difficult for them to answer for abstract ideas, so you need to give extra time to them so they can have time for themselves to come up with the answers. So don't rush them, give ample time, all right? For example, if you would like to give the others 10 minutes to identify the exceptionalities contohnya, but when it comes to slow learners, maybe you could somehow add another 5 minutes. Don't rush them, yeah? All right, next one is speech disorder. Humanistic and constructivist. Okay. Excuse me. When it comes to speech disorder, look again, yeah. Humanistic, emphasize emotional safety, and self-esteem. All right. So like I mentioned previously, my students, she is about to be a teacher. Somehow he has this she has a problem to present in class. Somehow, yes, you need to be human. You need to always mention to her that she can do well, that she can do well every time she present. And like I mentioned previously, I send her to psychiatrist. In UiTM, we have pusat kesihatan, or maybe in your place, apa tu? It's not a hospital. It's just a pusat kesihatan in university, right? Clinic lah, like clinic, right? In our university. So I send her to psychiatrist. The psychiatrist will try to help this particular student. Somehow, speech disorder ni comes from the traumatic problem that happened throughout this particular person's life. So we would like to look for the root cause. So it will help them to for the betterment of themselves, right? So emotional disorder again is humanistic theory, is somehow similar to speech disorder. Okay, all right. Okay, so now we have tailoring support. Why different approaches matter? Okay, why different approaches matter? Definitely not single approach fit all. Whatever that we discussed today, somehow it won't help you during the during your time of teaching, because what we discussed today is based on the experience somehow. But when it comes to your own experience, you might deal with something else. You might need to look for the different method from what we are learning today. Okay, however, whatever that we are learning today might help you, might be the guidelines, all right, for you to ensure that the support is somehow targeted. You need to have that empathetic personality, all right, to be human, all right? You need to be human, and then definitely when you be human, somehow it will impact the students' emotional and behavioral personality. All right. So the first one is dyslexia and cognitive theory. Okay, so dyslexia primarily affects phonological processing. Like I mentioned during our first minutes of our class, dyslexia comes from the idea of lexi. Lexi is language. So it affects phonological processing, working memory, and rapid naming. Alright, a cognitive approach targets these core difficulties by, contohnya nombor 1 adalah using explicit systematic phonic instruction, for example, Orton-Gillingham methods. So I don't want to somehow focus on this method. I have shared with you in my Padlet on the additional information on Orton-Gillingham method. But I would like you to look at the ideas on using explicit systematic phonic instruction. In Malaysia, we learn this by phonic. Contohnya A, B tak ada bunyi. B kita tak ada bunyi. Malaysia tak ada bunyi. B tak bunyi B. Tetapi kalau B tambah dengan A baru dia bunyi ba. Itu di Malaysia. I understand that we have different phonic instruction, but this is how we learn in Malaysia. I believe yours is different, but somehow the idea is the same. You need to focus on systematic phonic instruction. When it comes to phonic instruction, you need to have drill practice while you repeat that. You repeat the phonic instruction many times. Like I mentioned previously, sometimes it will stick to the mind and they can still remember what they are learning in the next class, inshallah. Okay? All right. Number 2, implementing multisensory technique, all right, to engage multiple pathway for learning letter sound correlation. Macam tadi A, B, C, C. So you need to always, mention this, and you need to always, show whatever happened, the facial expression to them, because sometimes when they see, all right, it will somehow start in their mind. A, J, B, so you need to make sure that they look at your face, they try to pronounce that together with you. You need to make sure on that. You cannot sometimes the instructor is shy. They are too shy to pronounce those words, because sometimes it will make your faces look different, kan? Tiba-tiba biba. Instead of bibe, tu tak bunyi. Alright? So you need to give the best that you can so that they can get the ideas of how to pronounce that correctly. Okay, so the next one is employing graphic organizer and visual cues to reduce working memory load for comprehension. Yes, dyslexia, they need to have more visual cues because when it comes to essays, it will make them to feel overload or overwhelmed. So please use a lot of graphic organizers or what you call as mind map. Graphic organizers is somehow similar to mind map and then visual cues, yeah? Okay, I have given you the example over here. A teacher uses color-coded letter, blocks, and sand trace for a student to trace and sound out words simultaneously seeing, hearing, and feeling the letter. Yeah, it is good for you to use these, tasks when you are teaching your students. Or maybe if you have any other ideas, you can always share with the rest of us. Okay. So the next one, ADHD and behaviorist theory. All right. So ADHD involve challenges with attention. Yeah. So basically, when it comes to ADHD students, they might not having focus while in your class. Impulsivity and hyperactivity somehow they feel quite bored, all right, to be in the class. They need to go out for quite some time and then come back. That's why I say last week I have these particular students that after several minutes I asked them to go out from the class and come back later. All right, so they need different environment. They cannot be in same environment for quite some times. Okay. All right, so behaviorist theory strategies are highly effective in managing and shaping observable behaviors, where number one, establishing clear rules, all right, and predictable routine with visual schedule. However, when it comes to ADHD student, even though the focus is not there, but you can always establish clear rules. You can always mention to these particular students what are the rules that they need to follow in class, all right, and then for example, my students, they know that after several minutes of the class, I might ask them to go out from the class. So they were waiting for that particular moment to happen. I can see from the face. Nak habis dah. Okay. All right. And then utilizing token economy system or reward charts for on-task behavior and task completion. Always praise them. Good job. If you have sweets, you can always share in class. Okay, or you have done your job. Good job. So this is a sweet for you. All right. And then providing immediate positive enforcement for desired action. Sitting still, raising hand. Because sometimes when it comes to ADHD students, it's quite rare to see them, all right, to sit still and then raise their hand to answer question or raise their hand to go out from the class. So yeah, you need to always provide immediate and then positive reinforcement. So it will help them to overcome this particular issue, like sitting still and raising hand. Okay, so I have example over here. Students earn points for each completed mini task, all right, which can be exchanged for a preferred activity like 5 minutes of free drawing time. Okay, after sometimes you have given all this chocolate whatsoever, sweet whatsoever, if they have like more than 5 sweets, so they can have 5 minutes of free drawing times. You help them, right? But however, like I mentioned previously, they like predictable routines. Okay. All right. So the next one is autism constructivist behaviorist. Autism spectrum disorder, ASD, involve diverse social, all right, communication and behavioral patterns. A combination approach is critical. Autism is quite difficult to handle actually in class, because sometimes when they cannot express themselves, they're going to get into meltdowns. Somehow it's quite difficult for us to calm them. But usually when it comes to autism or Asperger, the meltdowns comes when they are in early years of their life. Contohnya from 3 years, because usually we are going to identify whether they have whether these particular students have autism or not when they reach 2 years and above, usually, but definitely sometimes we can diagnose that at early age. All right. But after sometimes when they know how to handle themselves, when we somehow teach them on how to help them with the meltdowns, they can somehow curb the problem, curb the meltdowns. I have students, he mentioned to me during the early age of himself, he always get into meltdowns when he cannot get whatever that he wanted because the parents could not understand him. But after sometimes when they can speak, all right, they always share any unsatisfaction that they have. Somehow the meltdown situation could be curbed. All right. Okay, so behaviorists provide structured environment, right, clear expectation and positive reinforcement to teach adaptive behavior and reduce challenging one. It's somehow similar to the ADHD just now. You need to always provide structured environment, and then yes, they love positive reinforcement so much, right? So I have given you the example over here. A student learns turn taking through a structured game, right? With visual prompts and receive praise for successful social interaction. Okay. You need to mention the turn taking, all right, beforehand, because sometimes these autism students is whether they don't want to get into any discussion, or they would like to be in the discussion, but they are so eager to get into the discussion. So you need to tell them, all right, so the first group is going to be this particular group, the second is going to be that group, third group, so they know, okay, I am going to go next, so they can wait, because sometimes I mentioned previously, sometimes autism student, they are so eager to present, or maybe they are not interested to present at all. It is depending on the behavior on that particular day. Okay. All right. So the next one, we have slow learner. Okay. Slow learner, you need to break down complex tasks into smaller. We have somehow get into this idea during our discussion just now. All right, breaking down complex tasks into smaller, manageable step. Yes. For example, when you would like to give instruction, you need to chunk the instruction into several sentences. You cannot give the instruction straight away in bulk, all right? And then number 2, frequent repetition and review of concept to aid memorization. Yes, you need to repeat the instruction for quite some times. If you need to say something, it is good for you to repeat every day, every time you have class with them. Because like I mentioned previously, sometimes it will stick to the mind. All right, so the next one is teaching mnemonic devices and other memory enhancing technique. Somehow you can use board game, all right? You can introduce visual cues, all right? And you can always use drill practice as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the classroom example. When teaching multiplication, all right, the teacher first ensure the students master addition, all right, then uses visual arrays to build understanding of multiplication concept before memorization. So this is for mathematics. Okay, you need to master, the student need to master addition at the first place, so that after sometimes you can move to the next topic, right? Okay. So the next one is speech disorder. Okay, speech disorder. So when it comes to speech disorder, you can have humanistic and constructivist theory to work together with this particular problem. Why? Because speech disorder can affect communication. Correct. When you cannot, how am I supposed to say, construct full sentences, definitely you will affect communication, because sometimes your other interlocutors could not understand your ideas because the instruction, the speech is not complete, all right? And then at the end of the day, it will lead to frustration and social isolation, all right? What you can do is to create a safe, encouraging space for communication attempt, valuing all forms of expression. Because sometimes, for example, there will be students who cannot somehow say in words, so they're going to make, gestures to make sure that you understand. Contohnya, I would like to drink water, but that particular student, they cannot mention that I would like to drink water. So might be we will be it will be quite frustrated to them if they cannot say that. So what they are going to do is to show gestures that I would like to drink water. So as an instructor, you need to try the best that you can to understand the gestures, all right? Okay. The next one is, when it comes to constructivities, integrate language practice into interactive, meaningful activities and social contacts, such as role playing or group discussion. Yes. It is good for you to give practice to them. Sometimes the activity should be meaningful. You ask them to come up with a role playing. Somehow it help them to overcome their overcome the problem with their self-esteem. At the end of the day, they can speak, inshallah, they can speak well, but it takes time. Okay. All right. So a teacher facilitate a show and tell. All right. Where student can use pictures or a communication device if verbal expression is challenging, validating all effort. If you could read over here, the activity suggested over here, it is show and tell. Even though the student could not speak the ideas, they can always use any other devices, for example, pictures, all right, to express the idea of their show and tell activity. Okay, so the next one, the last one, is emotional disorder, all right, humanistic theory. Okay, so emotional disorder also affect student ability to learn, because they cannot socialize. They have this, maybe it comes from the traumatic event happen in their life. So they become reserved, all right, and they don't want to get involved in any activity in class. Somehow, yeah, it can impact their ability to learn, because they don't want to speak to people, right? They don't want to participate in any activity in class. All right. So what you can do is to foster a sense of belonging. All right. These are all your friends. This is our class. This is our family. So we're going to help you. So you need to foster a sense of belonging, all right, and safety within the classroom. We are going to take care of you. Don't worry. If you need time to present, we can always wait. Right? So you encourage self-expression and empathy. If they cannot speak, try to ask what is in your mind. Maybe you could somehow, mention what's in your mind, and we can try to expand the ideas. Maybe start small, but at the end of the class, at the end of the semesters, all right, it will help them to build their self-esteem, and yeah, they can present well, who knows, all right. Okay, and the last one is teaching coping mechanism and emotional regulation strategies, because sometimes when it comes to student having emotional disorder, all right, they feel so anxious to present. Okay, they will have this sweating around their faces. Okay, so you can teach them coping mechanism, ask them to sit, ask them to drink water before they present, for example. Somehow they can regulate their emotional, and it become one of the strategy, all right, before they present. Contoh, all right. So the classroom start each day with a check-in where students can share their feelings, and the teacher models active listening and empathy. Yes, you can start the class by asking, how are you today? How do you feel about our class today? Or how do you feel about today? All right, do you have any experience that you would like to share with me from yesterday's event, contohnya? All right, somehow it will open up, open up a session where they can share their feeling. Okay. All right. So, I don't want to somehow continue with INTAS learning progression and teacher development. This is going to be our next topic in our third meeting. Our third meeting is going to be on the 4th December 2025, definitely. All right. Okay. But I would like you to go over, sorry. I would like you to go over here. Okay. I would like you to answer to this question. I'll give you some times, but I'm going to read this when we see each other in our third session. Okay, what learning means to you? Okay, what learning means to you? I would like you to just click over here. You can click the additional space over here. Click add, and then you write your name. Okay, and then you mention the ideas of what learning means to you. So in our third meeting, I would like to read this, and we will see what kind of activity that we're going to do after that. Okay, all right, boleh? Okay, everyone?
Boleh, ma'am.
Boleh, yeah? All right. So I have completed my session for today. Is there any question from the floor? Do you have question from the floor?
Silakan adik-adik yang mau bertanya ke Miss Diana terkait materi untuk sesi kedua ya, Miss.
Iya, benar. You can ask me in Bahasa Indonesia. I have no problem. I will try to answer in Bahasa Melayu because I don't know Bahasa Indonesia that much. This morning, I've learned from my friend Matur nuwun. Matur nuwun, yes. Terima kasih kan? Betul? Betul ke? Ke salah?
Yes, Miss, betul, Miss.
Matur nuwun, ya. No worries, I can always try to answer. You can ask me in Bahasa Indonesia. No worries.
Barangkali Mas Neva Zaki mau bertanya atau Mas Nano, Mas Luki.
I don't have any question, Miss.
Okay, no worries. Apa tu, Nano, I don't know whether in Indonesia you have the same sweet. In Malaysia we have this sweet tau. Sweet tu apa ya dalam bahasa Indonesia? Dia bukan manis tau, tapi dia
Permen, Miss,
gula-gula.
candies.
Gula-gula. You call it as gula-gula as well?
Gulali, Miss.
Gulali?
Permen.
Permen. Permen. So in Malaysia, we have this permen, gula-gula, called Nano. So they have a song of this particular permen. Nano, macam tu.
Yeah.
Nanti-
We also got it in here, man.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
All right. So when I just got to know that your name is Nano, this permen comes to my mind. Aduh, sedapnya. Lamanya tak try. All right. Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for being with me today. If you have questions, if you think that you have question after this, you can always try to contact me. You can get my number from Bapak Harry. All right. But I'm going to see you in 4th December. Yeah, I'm not around next week. All right. Possible?
Yes, Miss.
All right. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you,
Have a good day,
Miss.
everyone. Take care.
Adik-adik
Thank
kita
you,
dulu di
Miss.
Zoom ya. Ini mau dikirim link presensinya. Thank you very much, Miss Diana, for the time.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Oke, silakan presensinya di chat box. Jangan ada yang tipsen loh ya. Sedapnya Nano.
Astaga. Aduh, astaga takutnya.
Yang sudah, jangan lupa dibuat di screenshot. Terus kalau udah kalau udah presensi bisa leave Zoom. Makasih semuanya.